Hey, good morning, and welcome to Farrell and the Prophet. While the rest of the United States of America takes a well-earned break from politics, and we don't do a ton of politics on this show, and we're not going to do it today, but we do have some shit going on, because as you know, Scotty and I, we live in the Big Apple, and there is a race for mayor, which is very interesting. It was getting a little bit closer, but then Donald Trump, who's not really very well loved here in New York, he endorsed Cuomo, who is like his
Loved,
all-time enemy,
not very
during
well
the
loved.
pandemic. He gave him the love, which is going to guarantee Mandami is going to win the thing, which he probably was anyway. And here's the good news, Scott. You and I won't have too much to worry about at that point because our property values are going to go here. Crime is going to go there, and you and I are going to have to leave. So it all works out.
Yeah, I don't think personally, I'm not a fan of it. I get sick to my stomach. Like literally, I was up early this morning as usual, and I was changing the channel
Yeah.
every 20 seconds so I wouldn't have to watch any more fucking commercials about these people. Now listen,
Insane.
a couple things I want to say. First of all, you said Trump isn't very well loved. I mean, love is a strong word for to be associated with him. There is
In,
no love at all. Like, I can go with liked. He's not very well liked. We can
in New
start
York
at
City.
liked, but there'll
Yeah.
never be love for that fucking guy. Now, listen, uh, and I worked for him. I actually did a fight. I told you this story. I did
Hmm.
a fight for him. He was always involved in
Yeah.
sports. He bought
Yeah.
teams. He did everything. He did MMA fights, and I did the play-by-play with Chuck Zito out in Anaheim at
Right.
the pond for him. And he gave me 10 grand. And I met Melania, and he was nice to me. I told you I was friends with his son when I was on Howard 101.
Yeah.
Now, Howard at the time, he always had Trump on the show hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And then when he became president, he acted like he didn't know him and that he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then the second time he was in office, I mean, he won't even fucking discuss Howard. Meanwhile, Donald Jr. used to do my show when he was nobody. And then when he got power, when his dad got in the White House, he also acted like he didn't know me ever again. Like, and I knew all of them. I knew
Donald
that
Trump Jr.
lawyer. I knew that crooked lawyer.
Oh,
Well, all I know is
yeah.
that guy went to jail,
Yeah.
and then he wouldn't take my calls, but he took my calls for years
Yeah.
when he didn't fucking matter. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is this. I was playing
Mandami.
basketball, and my friend is Albanian,
Yeah.
and he looks like him, right?
Yeah.
Except he's bigger and stronger. He's like a big basketball player. The guy's 6'3", 260. He means business. He's a bull in a china shop. But we're playing ball the other day, and he looks just like him, dead ringer, his face. And we're playing ball the other day, and the guy that owns the gym goes, Farrell, you got Mamdani. Everyone started losing their shit. He called my friend Dan Mamdani, and the guy's Albanian. And you would have thought he was gonna, like, everyone was laughing, so the guy went with it and laughed. But you don't fuck with Albanians.
No,
Like,
no, they'll cut your dick off.
they'll kill you.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, the other thing is, now, is there anything more painful in the world
Yeah.
than living in New York City, but still seeing the commercials for Mikey Sherrill being a Navy helicopter pilot?
Yeah.
I want to. And how about the one where they run the ad where that old bag reporter asks her
Yeah.
if there's one thing that you would do, one piece of legislation that you would pass,
Yeah.
and they run that commercial, and remember she doesn't have an answer.
She
It's
does
like,
that.
and then she never answers her, and they run that ad 700 trillion times a
Yeah.
week on
Yeah.
major channels,
Right.
and I want to fucking stick a knife, a
Yeah.
giant sword, like an Arabian sword, through my
Right.
fucking eyeballs.
Yeah. So, guys, let me set the groundwork for you, because in New Jersey, right a stone's throw across the river, I've got a joint down at the shore. It's Mikey Sherrill, who I've been talking to my wife and trying to explain to her that you usually try and hire for a large management job, like the governor of New Jersey. You try and hire someone smart.
Right.
And Mikey Sherrill is a moron, but The other choice on the other side of it is Jack Tittarelli. Now, Titty has run 3 times. The only guy who in our area has run more than that is Curtis Sliwa, who used to try and save people in the subway in the 70s and got
Right.
like shot, and he's just a
Guardian
fucking
angel.
asshole. He's been the Republican candidate for 55 years. He's had a bigger run as a Republican than the Pope has ever had, over in Vatican City. Of course, he loses every time.
So
He's a fucking
he
moron.
actually, he does a show. He's done radio at WABC for
Forever.
years, and I was on ESPN, right? So they did it in the same studios, right?
Sure.
So I used to do it with Hannity,
Yeah.
Sliwa, and then I was over in the other studio doing ESPN.
Yeah.
And so I would see him all the time. He knows me, and he's actually a really nice guy. And he's a cool guy, and he's got balls. I mean, the guy will walk in the worst fucking hoods in the world, and with his little red hat on, and not be afraid of dudes that'll blow your fucking head off and cut you into pieces. But I'll say this: he's got to be the worst politician in the history of the free world.
History. I mean, right now, literally every single person in New York City with any money, and I'm going to go with in New York, to have money. Let's say the floor for you to live in New York is $200,000. If you don't have $200,000 a year coming in, I promise you are living either in the Bronx or Staten Island. You're not in Brooklyn anymore. Queens, anywhere near the city, Long Island City, you're not living there, and you sure as fuck aren't living in Manhattan.
Let me say this lastly to end this, because no one gives a fuck
Nobody
about
gives
our
a fuck.
City. Although everyone is jealous of our city. Everyone's
should.
jealous of New York.
Yeah.
And remember this, every NBA player in the world wants to play at the
Garden.
Right, so I want it to end. Like, I want to see no more fucking television commercials.
With you, brother.
At all. I don't want to see any of them. In fact, when Mandami wins, I don't want to see him either, ever. I don't want to see him, let alone, because he's going to run the city into the ground.
Right into the ground.
They all do.
Yeah.
Eric Adams was maybe the worst mayor ever. De Blasio was terrible. It goes on and on and on.
The Democrats always vote for a Democrat, and you want to know who does business in the city? Bloomberg, right, who ended up starting as an independent and became a Democrat. He's a Republican. He transformed the city. Rudy Giuliani, before he turned into a little cokehead monkey, he actually cleaned up Broadway. Scott and I never appreciated that because he took down all the peephole shops that we loved. You could just put your dick in. Oh my God, Mike, you just put your dick in. You don't know who's taking care of business. It's just great. Love those things. They're gone.
You could go buy dildos, and you could get a hand job. You could buy a bong in there. They would sell dildos and bongs in the same store.
Yeah, and actually they had wider bongs that you could use as a dildo, and you could ejaculate in it, and then you could smoke crack out of it. I mean, New York was a great fucking place. So, at the end of the day, those two guys.
Triple X Video, they had movie theaters, Triple X movie theaters. They were little stores. You could watch pornos.
And by the way, if you ever sat in those seats, just so you know, they used to have a contest to see who could stand up quickest, because you would stick and the whole seat would come up stuck to your fucking ass.
We taught the red light district in Amsterdam how to do it. We taught them how to do it.
Please, I was in the red light district, Scott, 2 years ago, and I'm thinking, you hit it on the head, partner. They're rookies, dude. They're like, come in. Would you like the purple hash, or would you? You don't know what you're fucking talking about. No one here is going to kill me. Right off the bat, you lose.
Honestly, there was a place that I used to do, I did a lot of shows in Midtown on the radio. And there was a place I used to go literally on 8th Avenue to buy sex toys.
Of course. Scott, they were absolutely. So everybody.
Right across from the fire station.
Right. We have a place in New York City.
And 8th.
It sounds absolutely beautiful. It sounds like a glorious place to live. And it's named after our first president. It's called Washington Heights. It's the height. It's beautiful. And that was where everybody, Scott, growing up as a Jersey kid, we would literally go 20 miles an hour across the George Washington Bridge, underage, to go buy crack over in Washington Heights, and we would do it right away. We smoke it, we would do it, and then we would come back over the bridge 100 miles an hour. Go, whoa!
Right.
I miss those days,
Who
bro.
didn't? Who
Oh,
didn't do that?
dude, it was so much fun. I don't know if we should talk sports. I did want to bring up one thing, Scott. On the show, I told you I thought Yamamoto might win Game 6. Not that anybody gives a fuck anymore, but I didn't think he was going to win Game 7 too. I mean, I got to give that guy props because he's got a Chinese godfather, Otani, over his shoulder. But the truth is, Yamamoto, man, woo, what a playoff!
Yeah, I mean, I thought that his 3 innings in Game 7 were brilliant.
Brilliant.
I thought the Rojas homer, the guys hit 2 the whole season, 1 against a right-hander, that home run right there against Hoffman. And I thought that the Smith home run was gigantic, and then the double play ball to Betts,
With
to
you.
Freeman stepping on the bag at second over to first to win it
Unbelievable.
was unbelievable. You got to give him credit. And here's the thing: I said to someone yesterday. I said, I know this guy that works at MLB Network. I see him at the gym all the time, and I said the thing about Toronto is they talked about how they hadn't won it in 32 years. And they were, 1 win away from the World Series when they went back to Toronto for Game 6 and 7, and they didn't get it done. And then they what they're going to do is they're going to re-sign all these players and give them money and everything else. And then what they're going to do is they won't be back in the World Series for another 30 years.
Dude, I completely get it. Look, I'm going to throw it out there. Toronto, props to you because, I mean, you were a fucking heavy underdog, but you choked, right, Scotty? I mean, they choked. They were up. They went home, Scott. 3-2. That's a choke. That's a fucking choke.
They were up
Sorry.
3-0, 3-1, 4-2, and lost. And
Choke.
here's another one for you. How about
Choke.
this? I had the Penguins last night plus 150, and they were up 3-0, and they lost 4-3 in the third period.
Right.
Can you even fucking believe that I lost that bet? I've had some bad beats. How about the bad beat on Sunday with the Falcons kicker missing the PAT to send the game to overtime? That fucking cunt pussy motherfucker.
Hey, Scott, the beat last night, because I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I root for the Penguins when they're playing because I know what they mean to you. Scott was the voice of the Penguin. I mean, Scott is a Penguin. He's a very big Penguin. He's an emperor penguin, but he's a Penguin. Listen, 3-0. I think I put the kiss of death on. It's probably like 10:30 at night. We're into our cups a little bit, and I go, Scott, it's 3-0 Pens. Come on! Exclamation point. Kiss.
Well, at least we still had a winning night, and we hit the T-Wolves.
3-2. And
the next one.
Elite pick, Scott. Brilliant. St. Mary's. That line, guys, for you elites, that line was literally should have been
Laughable.
22. It should have been, Scott, it was unbelievable. Great fucking pick. Hey, Scotty, I wanted to run down. We do it on Tuesdays a lot. We talk
and we hit the Florida over. That was a great game.
Beauty.
I thought Florida and Arizona was a great game. And I knew they were at around 92 in the first half.
Yeah.
And they barely got there. They barely got to the
did.
163. We needed 163, but they got it done. I thought that kid Pete, that freshman Pete for Arizona was just absolutely unbelievable. And there were 60 NBA scouts in that crowd. They were there to watch the kid from Florida, the stretch. But the bottom line is, I think they left thinking Pete, the freshman at Arizona, is the guy that they crave.
Legit. Absolutely legit. We had a couple great performances. I do want to say this, guys, just so you keep an eye out. During the week, we're going to hit you up. The last 2 years, we're running above 60% documented on small college basketball. Scotty and I love all basketball.
Yeah.
But we data mine during the week, those small school games, and we're going to give it to you over and over again. And keep an eye out for those because that is always, always one of our wheelhouse plays. So we'll keep you informed on that as we go along. But of course, you got to sign up to get those. We ain't giving those out for free.
Tonight, by the way, Texas and Duke play tonight.
Yep.
Just to tell you, Purdue's playing. They're number 1 in the land. I plead the fifth because I got action on that game.
Yeah.
And then Oak City and the Clippers tonight's going to be really good. I just wanted to say because we've been hitting tons of hockey games on the F&P podcast. I'm going to give them out for today. I like Utah at Buffalo, Montreal over Philly, Islanders over Boston, Carolina to beat the Rangers at the Garden. I like Dallas at home over Edmonton. I like Minnesota at home over Nashville, Colorado at home over Tampa. And then I plead the fifth in the Anaheim, Florida, and the Winnipeg, LA games because I have action on those on pay picks. And the last game I'll give you is Vegas. I think they'll beat Detroit tonight in Sin City. And we've been hitting tons of hockey games for you people on the F&P podcast. Let alone, don't forget Saturdays. We do college football and pro football on the Saturday show. It's so popular that people have stopped having sex on the weekends because they know they'd rather listen to our podcast and get free winners.
Right, and just jerk off. Right? Don't try and convince your significant other that you should get some. Just listen to us. That's it. And absolutely, if you need to, glove up and watch us while you're doing it. We don't care. We don't care.
Right.
Scott, I got one little pick for you. It's the Cowboys of Oklahoma State wearing chaps against oral sex. And that game, I don't care what the spread is, Scotty, that's going to be a blowout from heaven.
And
Scott,
that's, I'm guessing, at Iba in Stillwater, right?
Yeah.
I didn't, I see it, 19 and a half.
Yeah. All right, Scotty, I'm going to take you into the land of pro football if you're okay with it.
Right.
All right.
I think the Cowboys are fucking finished. Their defense blows. I mean, to tell you, I can't believe I lost that bet last night that Dak Prescott couldn't beat Arizona. You know, they've lost to them 9 of the last 10 times they played, and they lost to Jacoby fucking Brissett.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers took him out. Scotty, we're going to run back the whole. I just, give me your quick reaction right now because, we're obviously barreling right by that halfway mark. The Giants and Eagles, I don't know what you want to say. Pardon me, Giants and Eagles. The Giant game, they got fucking blown out.
Well, we hit it. We had the Niners -2.5, so we hit it. That's all that matters. I think the Giants season is over with their injuries to Neighbors and Scattaboo. They're done. And there's a lot of people calling for Dable and Shane to get fired.
Gone. You know what, Scott? I think it's time. How many chances do you get? I'll say this. I mean, Scott, I'll say one thing about this too. Look, the Mara family, one of those like the Hallis family, one of the great football families. This generation, gotta go. He fucking sucks dick. I mean, listen, they're as bad as the Jets. All right, the Ravens crushed the Dolphins Thursday night. Scott, any thought on the Ravens? Can they make a comeback?
I hope not. I'm a Steeler fan, and the Steelers have a 2-game lead over them. Remember last December, the Steelers lost 5 straight to end the season going into the first week of January. January 5th, I was at that Bengal loss in sub-zero weather in Pittsburgh. They lost 5 straight, and they lost the division. They got into the playoffs anyway as a wild card and lost as usual.
Yep.
When you go on the road as a wild card, you got your problems.
Lose.
So, the Steelers' win over the Colts was enormous. I didn't think they would win. But remember, we had the under, and we hit it on the pay pick. So I thought the Colts would win. I thought they would cover. But we bet the under, so we made the right bet for you, the customers, the subscribers. So I want the Steelers to win the North and to have a home playoff game so I can go to it. They can't fuck this up. If they play defense like they did against the Colts, their offense is good enough with Metcalf and all their tight ends, Freiermuth and Washington, and the running game with Warren. They have an offense. It's the defense that has been letting them down. Now, the Bengals have a horrible defense. The Cowboys have a horrible defense. The Steelers have shown that they can be horrible. But they look good against the Colts.
Giants are terrible. So talking about the historical, we now have a defense that is neck and neck with, I believe it was the Colts from about 20 or 30 years ago, rest in peace, that is historically bad, Scott. Historically bad. 33.5 points a game. Yeah. Historically bad. So the Bengals are up, but the Bears beat them 47-42.
I just thought at the end of the game, the pass to Loveland and he broke 4 tackles to score was embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how else you're going to talk about it. Here's a game that I don't think anybody saw coming. The Vikings took out the Lions.
Yeah, I lost that bet, and I learned a valuable lesson. Never lay 8.5 in a divisional game.
I'm with you. Panthers and the Packers. What do you make of the Packers? Scott, what was that?
Well, we told you on the F&P podcast that the Panthers would cover the 13 and a hook.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely crazy. All right, let me keep moving on. We have the Chargers at 27. The Titans are now 1-8, going for the top pick in the draft, 27-20, Scott.
They didn't cover, but they won, and now they have the Steelers, and they'll probably beat Pittsburgh at SoHi Stadium in Lipstick City. I think they're decent. I don't think they're a great team. I think they're decent.
I will tell you this, guys. Scott Farrell shared with you on our private service. He said, hey guys, if you got the Stones, take the Falcons outright. But he was very clear to y'all. He said, look, there's the legit bet is absolutely on the spread. And I got to tell you this, man, was that money line game? I mean, what was that, Scott? Plus 200?
Plus two bills.
Two bills.
And it was
what a bet. I mean, what a play.
Like I said earlier on the show, it was devastating.
Devastating.
Because the game was going to overtime with an extra point, and he missed it, and I blame him fully. I hope he dies.
Absolutely. I will say this. I sidebarred with a number of you, particularly a couple of the elites who were asking me about that play, and I said, hey, you know what? Take a half a unit, go on the money line, take a half a unit, go on the spread. You went on the spread, you washed out, no harm, no foul, away we go. 49ers and the Giants, 34-24. Listen, I'm a Giants fan.
You know, Mac Jones keeps winning.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
He's going to get paid.
The Seattle Rams and Niner race in the West is really good.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Scott, he is, every year now it seems like one of these retreads comes up. Typically they're an ex-Jet.
Darnold.
Scott, it's way more. I mean, you know, it was Geno, it was Darnold. Listen, right. Baker is a retread, Scotty. That's a fact.
And he's great.
I mean, you know, so what happens is now they're learning a brutal lesson. A lot of quarterbacks need to be about 27 years old to get it right in the NFL. It's just the way it works. Danny Dimes, listen, I know we lost this week. Guess what? They're 7-2. So anyway, there you have it. And by the way, I do think the Giants may have found a quarterback, because if he didn't have all the dropsies out there, he'd be his rating would be stellar. We talked about
he's a good player.
I do too. We talked about the Steelers, obviously beating the Colts. Huge game, Scott. Props to you. Props to your team. Scott,
listen, a strip sack by Watt and recovers the fumble, the pick by Porter. You know, you start turning the ball over on the road in the NFL and you lose.
100%. Broncos, they just keep finding a way to win. It wasn't really pretty, but guess what? 18-15, they won again, the Broncos.
You know, Lutz made the kick. Once again, a fourth quarter, they're undefeated, trailing in the fourth. They've won every game coming back in the fourth quarter. The Broncos are kind of the cardiac kids of the NFL. They win all these games coming from behind.
Yeah, and to me, very impressive, because I watched them play the Giants, and the Giants just suck, and I thought, man, the Broncos are so overrated, but they keep winning.
Now, people said that the Bears-Bengal game was the wildest game in the NFL. I disagree. The wildest game was the Giants blowing that game in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, that by far was the wildest, because that was historical, Scott. You had 162 contests with that amount of time left and an 18-point lead. It's never happened before in history. Jaguars, Raiders. The Raiders just can't buy a game.
How about that kid Little, whatever, with the 68-yard field goal?
Dude, I got news for you. With these kids coming up right now, they're going to have to do something else. They're going to have to raise that fucking post to like 12 yards or whatever the fuck it is, because right now 70-yarders are going to happen. It's just insane.
Or make them closer.
Australian rules football. Oi, when they run up and they punt it through. Right. I love that game. They kill each other. The only thing they should do with that is, like in New York City, they play that, but they use knives. We got the Bills and the Chiefs. It's a 28-21 game.
You know, I was all over on the F&P podcast. You and I were on the Bills, and the 2.5, they got it done. No doubt about it. There were a lot of games we hit on the F&P pod.
Yeah, no question about it. Scotty, just going back did I bring up the Rams and the Saints? I mean, there's not much to talk about.
That was just easy money. I should have bet that game because they were laying 14, and you see that number and you run the other way, but they kicked their ass by like 24.
Yeah, I mean, brutal. Seahawks, you talked a little bit about it. Listen, the Seahawks are legit.
They're good.
And here's the thing. They got a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says, okay? Everyone, New York Jets suck a dick. They got a quarterback.
Listen, if they, and Jigba's been great. Horton's been great. Their running attack is great with the kid out of Michigan State, whatever. What's his name? Walker? Am I tripping?
Yeah.
So listen, they're a team they are the team that, in my view, you do not want to play them in the playoffs. You're going to lose. Yeah, they're going to win a wild card or a divisional game. Like if they get a bye, if they were to win the West and get a bye, they're going to win their first playoff game. If they have to play a wild card game, let's say at home or on the road, it doesn't matter. They're going to beat you. That is a team you do not want to face in the postseason. They
Scotty,
can do it all. Special teams, pass rush, and an offense that scores tutties.
so Scotty, I'm going to bring up the Commanders for a second. Just share my
You're
perspective because as a
finished.
Giants fan, I know the way you feel, about the Ravens, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to share with you the normal hate for Dallas, for Washington, for the Eagles that Giants fans have. But let me share one thing with you, Scott. They got a new owner in Washington, and everybody
Yeah.
said, what a breath of fresh air. They brought in the young quarterback. This is unbelievable. And like, we're turning the corner. Well, they're 3-6, and in a blowout, they left their quarterback in and he dislocated his elbow. And you know
Yeah.
what? You're a fucking jackass, coach. You probably get fired.
Well, listen, he missed, games with knee injury, hamstring, and now he's finished with a dislocated elbow. It was just a bad luck year for Daniels and a bad season for the Commanders.
And I love it.
Now it's going to be Mariota. They have no chance. They're finished. I got a buddy, as you know, that's an Eagles fan. He's huge, Philly fan. And he's convinced that trade that they got Phillips from Miami, that's going to get him back to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I will say this. Coming from where the Eagles are,
Seattle will beat them.
You think Seattle get him?
I think Seattle can beat anybody. You have to understand, last year is not this year.
Right.
The Philadelphia Eagles offense, to me, had one good game that I can speak of. It is against the Giants when Barkley had the big day and then left the game late when he tweaked his leg or whatever.
Yeah.
All I know is they have not looked as good as they did last year.
Agreed.
And last year is last year. This Seattle team, and I mean it, they can beat anyone. Did you see? They fucking destroyed Washington. It was 28-0, whatever. Yeah. I mean, the guy threw 4 tutties, Darnold, and I think they're dangerous. You know what they always talk about? All 3 phases.
Yeah.
They do it all.
Yeah.
Special teams, offense, defense. They do it all. And I don't think Philly does it all anymore. I think they're good. I think they're going to win the division. That's obvious. They're going, and I think they're going to lose.
Yeah. All right. Look, I'm hearing from the control rooms. They want to know what our Monday night, our Monday night review is with the Cardinals and the Cowboys. You talked a little bit about the Cowboys. Scott, the Cowboys defense, they're giving up 31.5 points a game. Is it actually now we're talking about another historically bad defense? Was it one trade that fucked this team up? One trade.
They gave that, and I think Dak's a good quarterback, but they gave him, $60 million a year to be 3-5-1. Yeah. They suck dick. Their defense is awful, and they're finished. Their season's over. What are they gonna? What are they gonna get? One player in the deadline today, and then they're gonna start winning games because their defense is gonna be turned upside down. Their season went down the fucking commode when they traded Parsons.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Scott? Across the country, there are things like hurricane shelters, tornado shelters, and people in the Midwest, they go down in these shelters when something really bad is coming. In New York City on 72nd Street, underneath this giant gymnasium, they have a shelter, and Jews are starting to gather under there because Mama Dami is coming. And if you a Jew, you gotta go. Get out.
I can't wait till the commercials stop. I think television stations in New York City should be fined a large amounts of money if they run ads after the elections are closed today. So when you can't vote anymore and they've closed the polls, and then after the fact, let's say it's 9 p.m. that it closes. I think it's 8 in Jersey, 9 in New York. So if at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock tonight, if I'm seeing Mamdani commercials and Cuomo commercials and Sleva commercials, I think you should be fined $1 million every time you run an ad after the polls have closed. And if you run them tomorrow, it should be $2 million.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fortunately, in the shelter I'm going in on 72nd, there's no TV. There's barely oxygen. I'll see you later.
But there is crack.
Yeah.